Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. Today we have some entitled parent stories and our first story of the day is by Cosmios. Racist entitled parent says, go back to your own country. Prologue. I took some friends out to eat. One friend who I will refer to as Marcus was a tanned individual. Being from Mexico, his first language is Spanish. This will come into play a little later. Friend 2 was a more fair-skinned individual. Shy and quiet, thus she won't be participating much, but who will be referred to as Julia. None of these are real names. Now let's begin. As stated above, I took some friends out to eat. Yeah, how irresponsible of me. We are seated in a booth where our waitress comes by to hand us the menus. We discuss what we think looks good, then in walks entitled parent. She, along with her baby, are seated in the booth across from us. Here's where it starts to get interesting. Marcus gets a call from his mother about something I can't bother to remember. The entitled parent apparently overhears the conversation and under her breath says something about Mexicans, while my friends don't notice. I do, but pay it no mind. Julia and I chat about some stupid video game or something like that while Marcus continues to talk to his mother until he eventually, after some very embarrassing things were done and or said, hung up. The mother, now very frustrated, gets up, walks over and gives him an earful about, "You're in America, speak English," and "You and your kind should just go back to your own country." The three of us just stare at her blankly, flabbergasted at the situation that has occurred. Quickly, a smile grows ear to ear on my face and I quickly text Marcus to only speak in Spanish. He erects a crap-eating grin and we begin to confront her in Spanish. Marcus says, "Excuse me?"
See, this is the issue with you people. Come to my country and steal my jobs?
Yes, my friend, you read that correctly. I say, "Ma'am, I have no idea what you were talking about." Entitled parent, now red in the face.
What? You were speaking English just a minute ago.
No, ma'am, you must have hallucinated that. You are just that delusional, I guess. Entitled parent, now being a nuisance.
Speak English, darn it. English.
New character unlocked. Manager. Manager, now aware of the disaster that has become apparent, comes over to assess the situation. Manager in a gentle tone. "Excuse me, is there a problem here?" I open my mouth to speak, but entitled parent opens hers first. Entitled parent, now calm.
Yes, these foreigners are speaking Spanish in my country. You need to tell them to speak English or leave.
The manager looks at us. Marcus says, "Miss, we were enjoying ourselves until this lady came out of nowhere and starts attacking us." Best part, manager says, "Ma'am, you're in a Mexican restaurant. Now please leave these customers alone or leave the establishment." The manager apologizes, then leaves. Entitled parent sits down. "You thought we were done, didn't ya?" I wink at Marcus and we start speaking in Spanish loudly to mock entitled parent. Admittedly not the most mature thing to do, but hey, we were just a bunch of dumb teenagers. Well, apart from Julia, who of the three of us has the most common sense and tries to get us to stop. We ignore and continue to mock entitled parent until she gets up and confronts us again.
This is the issue with people. Everybody defends you and so you can do whatever you want. You darn Mexicans are ruining America. Why can't you just speak English like good citizens?
I smile. "Ma'am, I would first like to say, I'm Asian, not Mexican. For context, I'm tanned and for some reason am often mistaken to be Hispanic. Secondly, I would like to correct you. So, what is your issue again? In English, please?"
Are you stupid or something? I just said my issue. It's you darn Mexicans ruining
I said in English, not Spanish.
Let me speak. You are ruining
I said no Spanish.
What do you mean?
You do realize the word America is technically Spanish, right? Entitled parent's jaw drops. By this point, nearly tables and booths are giggling. Entitled parent quickly regains composure and says,
"You need to respect your elders."
No, respect is not simply given out, it is earned. Oh, yeah, regarding your issue with Spanish. Are you aware that only 8.7% of Americans are self-identified as having English origins, while a greater 18.3% is made up of Hispanics? Entitled parent sputters silently. I and Marcus continue to throw facts at her. My friends and I go to the top school in our state. Yeah, we're nerds, deal with it. Until she decides she's had enough and changes the subject. At this point, my group and a couple of tables nearby are struggling to hold in laughter. In a sudden burst of thought, entitled parent turns to Julia.
Hey sweetie, are these mean boys forcing you to be here?
She's attempting to attack me and Marcus, accusing us of things to tarnish our names to the tables nearby, just for the attempt to be unsuccessful. Julia says no, why would they?
I think they're going to try to do bad things to you. Come with me, sweetie.
Julia in Spanish, you've already embarrassed yourself enough today, go sit down. Context, Julia's parents are originally from Spain. Entitled parent turns white, then back to red, then screams,
You're one of those illegals too?
Now I'm slightly annoyed. Then ding, an idea. Ma'am, if you're going to speak on the legality of the situation, are you aware that you currently are doing something technically illegal?
What are you talking about?
You know, there's currently a global pandemic and, you're not wearing a mask?
Yeah, so I shouldn't be made to wear a piece of cloth.
Huh, didn't know that clothes aren't a piece of cloth. You do know there is a fine, right? How about I call the police and see what they say? She suddenly turns white, grabs her baby, and leaves. She didn't even get to order anything. Let me ask you guys, is this actually a common enough occurrence? What I want to know is, have you guys ever seen an outburst kind of like this in person? Let me know in the comments down below because I'm curious how often this actually does happen. Our next story is by FeralTaxEvader. We're closed. Yes, even for your child. Ever since I first started working at a specialty bakery nearby where I live, I've been, unsurprisingly, encountering a drastically increased number of entitled parents of all shapes and sizes. This is a story about one in particular from just a few days ago. The bakery where I work opens at 10 o'clock. On Fridays and Saturdays especially, we get a lot of people trying to come in early, but usually they're very understanding and willing to wait once they realize we're not open. Usually. Thursday morning last week at about 8:40, so over an hour early, a minivan comes screeching into the street parking spot outside and outsteps a woman who walks right up to our door and starts trying to open it. She stands there and yanks on the handle for a good 15 seconds, completely ignoring the large sign with our hours on it directly in front of her. That's another thing you learn working retail. People don't read, they just don't. Karen, as she of course will be called, is not deterred by the obviously locked door, or the complete lack of lights on inside, or the very clear sign, and begins hammering on the door. My coworker opened the door to tell her we weren't open, and Karen tried to barge right in past her. She was stopped though, and told to come back when we were open. The door was quickly relocked and Karen huffed her way back to her car. You'd think that would be the end of it. As I certainly did, but you, unlike me, have the advantage of being able to look up and see what sub I'm posting this on and know instinctively that of course, that wasn't it. Not 30 seconds later, the back door of the minivan slides open and out steps a roughly 6 to 7 year old boy in basketball shorts and a t-shirt who comes right up to our door and starts trying to open it. It's probably worth mentioning that it gets real cold where I live and was indeed cold on that morning. So this kid is standing out there in completely insufficient clothes, probably freezing, all because his mom refuses to take no for an answer. After like a minute of this kid knocking on the door, Karen comes stomping out of the minivan, basically shoves her shivering son to the side, and begins pounding on the door, screaming at us about being cruel, inhumane monsters who would force a child to stand in the cold. Followed, of course, by the standard threats to leave terrible reviews, never come back, tell everyone we were a horrible business full of horrible people, etc. Kid is still standing there, by the way, looking absolutely miserable, but Karen seemed to care less about her son's well-being than she did about apparently trying to break our freaking door down with how hard she was slamming on it. My coworker and I, meanwhile, were just kind of standing there panicked because our manager had gone to the back and there isn't exactly a clear-cut procedure on what to do if a middle-aged white lady with a Louis Vuitton handbag tries to "Here's Johnny" the front door while screeching insults. We were seriously starting to consider calling the police by the time Karen finally gave up, giving the door one last kick and giving us one last
"Unbelievable"
before grabbing her kid by the wrist, did not look gentle by the way, and yanking him back to the minivan red-faced. Thankfully, we haven't seen any sign of her since, closed or not. It seems like she's making good on her promise to never come back, which is honestly the best case scenario. What I still can't get over though, besides the fact that a grown freaking woman threw a tantrum over not being able to buy cinnamon buns immediately, is just like, what did she expect to happen? We told her we were closed, the door was clearly locked, and we obviously weren't ready to open, so what the heck did she think sending her kid up to the door was going to accomplish? We were still closed. Shockingly enough, the rules still apply with children. Some people, man. Obviously, the mother was trying to do some kind of weird emotional manipulation tactic and hoping that her innocent child up there at the door was going to be enough to convince you to break the rules and somehow open up earlier and serve cinnamon buns to them. Then she gets out and starts complaining, "Oh, how dare you, you're so inhumane for not letting them inside when he's freezing out here." As if they didn't just get out of a minivan to go up to the door to bang on it. I feel bad for the kid because the kid obviously was getting totally used here by the Karen, and overall that's just a terrible role model to have. Our next story is by MorpheusJay. Mom has a problem with my headlights. A couple of years ago, my daughter worked at one of those haunts that goes from Halloween to around Christmas. Very popular. Like many such places, they employed young people. So it's about 2 or 3 a.m. when I pull into the parking lot to wait for her to come out. This lot is empty. Very empty. Only staff are in there. My car has low-level headlights that are on all the time. You cannot turn them off. So this mom drives in, parked directly in front of me, facing me, with her headlights on. After some minutes, she gets out of her car, comes over to mine, and says I need to turn off my headlights because they are blinding her. I politely, okay, probably not really, point out a few things to her. 1, my headlights do not turn off. 2, out of all the empty spots in the lot, she chose to park in front of mine knowing that my lights were on. 3, her lights were on and she is facing me and I am not complaining about it. She huffed a little and went back to her car. Funny thing is, she never moved it. My daughter came out first and she got into my car. I then turned on my actual headlights. Fun times. Nothing big or dramatic, just reminded of this when I was reading another post. You gotta love a hypocrite, especially one that's doing exactly what they're complaining about way worse than you are. Because I'm assuming that the mom had proper headlights on that were way brighter than your "my car is on, so there's some default I am on" lights. This next story is by Lucky Gemini 13. Mom gets mad at me because of my "Let's Summon Demons" shirt that our teenage daughter was asking about. Never thought I would need to post here, but here we go. In the mood of spooky season, I bought a t-shirt from a very risque sex/souvenir shop that says, "Let's Summon Demons," as all these kids are trying to summon a demon as one of the friends is laying on a pentagram. It's dark for some people, I get it, but it's Halloween season, so I didn't care. I just moved to this area, and anything that I wear that's too exposing or too risque, I get stared down. I'm a pretty big girl, so normally they just look in disgust but go back to what they were doing. But no, not yesterday. My fiance and I were in the mall near my new apartment. I was wearing my shirt while my fiance was wearing his usual polo and jeans. As we are in the mall, I get my fair share of "what the freak is she wearing?" looks from employees. I wanted to go to a well-known body wash place to buy hand soap. My fiance knows how long I would possibly take, so we left to go to a game shop. While I'm in the store, I find the hand soap and start reading which one is which. As I'm looking, I see maybe 4 more people come into this empty store. A mom and daughter, I only know that because of the rest of the story, and 2 older women which I assume to be an aunt and grandmother. The daughter was about 17-ish. She runs directly to the body wash set behind me on the display table. I find my soap and put it in the bag and walk to the other side of the store. Then I hear, "Excuse me." I look behind me and it's the daughter. They say, "Oh, my bad, you don't work here. I thought you were stocking the store." I was in no way dressed like the employees, but whatever. "Yeah, sorry, no, I don't work here, but since I love the store, I can probably help you." She then asks me for a certain scent, and since I could see it from where I was standing, I showed her. She looked at my shirt and started asking me where she could buy one and blah blah blah. I gave her all the details and even told her where the store was in the mall. She starts laughing about how I must know the mall very well. I guess her mom heard her talking and walked towards us.
Come on, daughter, I found your scent.
Entitled mother grabs the daughter's arm. The daughter says, "Wait, mom, look at her shirt, I really want one, it's so cool." I smile and look at the mom. As she reads my shirt, her face starts to turn into a look of disgust, like if she had just seen roadkill splat on her windshield. It was very awkward, she didn't even try to hide it. This is not word for word, but this is basically what happened.
No, you don't need a Satan-worshipping shirt.
Grabs her daughter. Daughter pulls back. No, mom, I'm talking. I just stand there confused.
Listen, I know it's Halloween, but my sweet baby does not need to see this Satan-worshipping crap when going to the mall. What's wrong with you? Are you possessed?
I say, listen, I don't care if you like it, and girl, if you want the shirt, you can afford it without your mom being in the way. I start to walk away. Entitled mother starts to follow me around the entire store, calling me a Satanist, an N-word, I'm black, and saying how my kind shouldn't be welcomed at my college. I go to a well-known private Catholic university nearby. She knows because my keychain is hanging out of my pocket that says the school. She starts yelling and asking for my name so she can call my school. As a black woman in this already racist city, I literally tried my best to finish my shopping and to leave. None of the workers helped me. I checked out with her still behind me yelling. I get done and she yells that I'm stealing and that the police need to be called. Luckily, the workers didn't do it. She continued to block me from leaving the store. She grabbed my arm, trying to drag me back in the store, and I slap her in the face. Entitled mother starts crying, her daughter grabs her, and she looks at me with the most apologetic look. My fiance was standing outside the door, thank God, and grabbed my hand and rushed me to the food court to get me to calm down. I thought that was the end, but nope. Entitled mother literally must have called store security and they were looking for me around the mall. They eventually found me. Security searches my bags and looked at the receipts, then asked me about why I smacked her. I told them I can explain everything. Entitled mother is yelling at the other security guards saying don't let the N-word get away with putting her hands on me. To sum up the rest, basically I got set free. Entitled mother was let go without security calling the police or letting me figure out who she was because I want to press charges. I can't believe this even happened over a shirt. I'm really pissed about the whole thing. My fiance has been calming me down. My university takes things like this very seriously. They are currently doing an investigation of their own to find out who the lady was and why the mall didn't do anything to help me. There's not a whole lot you can say about here besides OP definitely got screwed over by multiple people, that entitled mother is absolutely disgusting, and they deserved more than just getting slapped. And our final story of the day is by DeBearsFan85, just a quick conversation with mom. I live in an upper Midwestern state that has an explosion of COVID-19 cases at the moment. Mom and dad believe in the virus and wear masks, but still go to restaurants, malls, and places with large gatherings. They also watch a lot of Fox News. Me and my wife, on the other hand, only go out unless we absolutely have to. My family has a handful of birthdays this month, very close together, so we usually just have one party for everyone, but this year is clearly different than the others. Here is the phone call, to my best recollection and paraphrased. Ring, ring, ring. Mom says, "Hey, did you see how bad this virus is getting? The numbers are getting bigger and bigger every day. It's starting to really scare me. So many people are infected and sick. Plus all those people that have died from it, it's terrible." I say, "I know, just be careful and do what the CDC says and wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and all that good stuff. I don't want you or dad to get sick. You both have pre-existing conditions and that won't be good if you get infected." Mom says, "I know, especially dad. Heart surgery. We will be careful." So I'm having the birthday parties at my house on the 17th at 5 p.m. I'll order some pizzas and just get a cake from Costco. I also bought a new high chair for A, my 2-year-old daughter, because the old one is junk. I say, "Wait, what? You are still having a party? That's probably not a good idea right now. Who did you invite?" Mom says, "Oh, it's fine. It's just family. It's not a big deal. Your brothers are coming, aunt and uncle are coming. D and B will be here too. So, I don't know, maybe 15 people or so, not including you three." I say, yeah, I don't think we will be there. This isn't a good idea. It only takes one person to get everyone sick. Mom says, oh, it's fine. Everyone that gets infected just gets a little sniffle and it goes away in a couple days. Aunt and uncle said they know like 10 people that had it and nothing happened to them at all. I say, Aunt's mom had it 2 months ago and was in the hospital for 2 weeks. She couldn't breathe either. They had to give her oxygen and almost put her on a ventilator. Mom says, well, she's old and it affects old people more than younger people. I say, you and Dad are not that young anymore. Mid-70s. And Aunt's mom is 83, so she isn't that much older than you. This party is a bad idea. Mom says, so what time will you guys be here? I say, I gotta go, I'll call you later. Mom says, will A, 2-year-old daughter, eat pizza or should I go to Walmart and get something else for her? I say, I have to go. This is a bad idea. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Mom says, okay, bye. 2 hours later, she sent me a text to ask me what size my daughter wears. She got bored and went to Target and saw kids' clothes on a clearance rack or something. We did not go to the party. That was last weekend, and no one has reported any symptoms. Yet. It's one thing to have maybe a couple family members come over and you kind of distance and try and respect the boundaries, wear masks constantly, but bringing over 15 to 20 family members all during this pandemic, and you have pre-existing conditions and you're above the age of 70? It's completely reckless. You're gambling with your life. If somebody's sick, that could spell your end. That's just dumb. So I feel for OP because not only do they have to feel disappointed in their judgment, they have to worry that their parents won't get sick or contract the virus from this and hope that everything works out fine, and knowing going forward that they probably won't respect it like they need to in the future. I'm hoping for everybody's sake that nobody gets sick and everything can work out. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So, which of these stories was your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing and turn notifications on if you haven't so you'll never miss an upcoming video. Any little thing that you do helps the channel grow so much more. Whether it's commenting, subscribing, or just watching the video, thank you all so very much for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time right here on the Storytime channel.